There is a promise in the Bible about your debt that almost nobody preaches. It does not say pray harder and wait for a miracle. It does not say give more and hope the breakthrough comes. It says your freedom is a plan. And that plan starts with a single verse in the book of Proverbs that most Christians have read right past their entire lives. Because here's the uncomfortable thing that verse reveals. When you are in debt, the Bible does not simply call you a borrower. It uses a much heavier word. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. By the end of this teaching, you will know exactly what Scripture says about the debt you are carrying, why it has a grip on you that goes deeper than money, and the biblical path out that works whether you owe $500 or $50,000. Let's open the ledger. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 7. Write it down. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. Slave. Not customer, not client, not borrower with a payment plan. Slave. Now, we flinch at that word, and we should. But Solomon chose it on purpose because he was describing something exact. A slave is someone whose time, whose labor, and whose future belong to someone else. And think about what debt actually does. Every month, a portion of your work, the hours you traded your life for, does not belong to you. It belongs to the lender. You earned it, and it was spoken for before it ever reached your hands. That is not a moral insult. It is a mechanical description. The lender has a claim on your future income before you do. You are working, in part, for them. The Bible named that reality 3,000 years before the first credit card was ever printed. Here is what makes debt so dangerous, and it is the part almost nobody warns you about. Debt does not feel like slavery at the start. It feels like freedom. That is the trap. When you borrow, you get the thing now: the car, the furniture, the vacation, the relief. The cost feels invisible because it is spread out into 100 small future payments you barely notice. Debt is the only chain that feels like a gift the day you put it on, and the culture around you calls it normal. Everyone has a car payment. Everyone carries a balance. Everyone finances the phone. But normal and free are not the same thing. Most people are normal. Most people are also, by Solomon's exact definition, not free. The world will tell you the goal is to manage your debt, refinance it, consolidate it, move it around, make the minimums. Scripture points at something completely different. The Bible's goal was never to help you carry the chain more comfortably. It was to get the chain off. Now let me be careful and fair here, because the Bible is not simplistic about this. Scripture does not call borrowing a sin. It does not say every person in debt has done something wrong. Many people are in debt through no fault of their own: a medical crisis, a lost job, a season of survival. God is not standing over you with condemnation. Hear that clearly. But what Scripture does do, again and again, is treat freedom from debt as the better and higher place. In Deuteronomy, being the lender rather than the borrower is described as a blessing, and being the borrower is described as being beneath. In Romans chapter 13, Paul writes a single stunning line: "Let no debt remain outstanding except the continuing debt to love one another." Read that again. The only debt Scripture wants you carrying is the debt of love. Every other kind, God's design is for you to be free of it. Not because money is evil, but because He does not want a lender holding a claim on the future He gave you. Your future is supposed to be free to follow Him, not mortgaged to a bank. And if you want to know how seriously God takes this, look at the story in 2 Kings chapter 4. A widow comes to the prophet Elisha in terror. Her husband has died, and he left debt behind. And under the law of that day, the creditor was coming, not just for her possessions, but for her 2 sons. They were about to be taken as slaves to pay the debt. There it is again, debt and slavery standing side by side, this time literally. Her children were the collateral. This is how heavy debt slavery was in the biblical world, and God did not shrug at it. Watch what the prophet does. He does not simply hand her cash. He asks her a question that changes everything. What do you have in your house? And she says, almost nothing, just a small jar of oil. But God takes that one small thing she already had and multiplies it. The oil keeps pouring, jar after jar after jar, until she has enough to sell, pay off every last creditor, and live free on what remains. Do not miss the pattern, because it is the whole blueprint. God did not rain money from the sky. He started with what was already in her hand, and he multiplied it into freedom. Your way out is very likely already in your house. A skill, a margin, a thing you can do or sell or stop spending. God multiplies what you put to work, not what you wait on. So let's turn this into something you can actually do, because scripture is always practical. Here is the biblical path out of debt, in plain steps. Step 1, name the chain. Get every debt out of your head and onto one page. Who you owe, how much, and the interest rate. The widow had to take honest inventory of her house before God moved. So do you. You cannot break a chain you refuse to look at. This is not shameful. It is the first act of freedom. Step 2, find the oil. What is already in your house? Where is there margin you are pouring out through the holes we talked about? The subscriptions, the impulse spending, the leak. And what can you produce? A skill, a side effort, a thing you can sell. Freedom starts with what is already in your hand, put to work. Step 3, attack in order and attack smallest first. List your debts from smallest balance to largest. Pay the minimum on all of them and throw every extra dollar at the smallest one until it is gone. Then take everything you were paying on that one and pile it onto the next. This is why it works. It is not mainly about math. It is about momentum. That first debt you kill completely gives you proof it can be done, and proof is what keeps you going. Step 4, close the door behind you. As each debt dies, do not reopen it. The goal is not a cleaner chain. The goal is no chain. Live on what is left, give as you go, and refuse to borrow your future away again. Here is what I want you to leave with. The debt you are carrying is not a moral verdict on you. God is not ashamed of you, but he does not want you to stay in it. Not because he is against you having things, but because he is a father, and a father does not want someone else holding a claim on his child's future. The borrower is slave to the lender. That is the diagnosis. But the widow's jar is the promise. What is already in your house, put to work and multiplied by God, is enough to buy your freedom back. So take the inventory tonight. Find the oil. Start pouring. The lender has held the claim on your future long enough. It is time to take it back. Open the ledger and let's get you free.